After his detour in Egypt, Abraham returned to where his journey truly began. He went back to the place between Bethel and Athaveri, spot where he had built his first altar. The Bible says he called on the name of the Lord again. He was home, not just geographically, but spiritually. He was back at the altar. But Abraham didn't return empty-handed. He came out of Egypt very wealthy. He had livestock, silver, and gold. And Lot, his nephew who had traveled with him, was also wealthy. They had so many flocks and herds that the land couldn't support them both. The same God who blessed Abraham also blessed Lot because of his association with Abraham. But blessing brought a new problem. There wasn't enough room. The land could not support them both living so close together. Their herders began to quarrel. Abraham's herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen fought over water and grazing land. The peace was broken, and Abraham faced a choice: hold on to what was his, or let go for the sake of peace. Abraham saw the conflict and knew something had to change. So he went to Lot with a proposal that reveals the beauty of his character. He said, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you?" Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Think about what Abraham was doing. He was the elder. He was the one God had called. The promise was his. By all rights, he could have chosen the best land for himself and sent Lot away. But instead, he gave Lot first choice. This is remarkable. Abraham trusted God to provide for him, no matter which land was left. He didn't need to fight for the best. He could afford to be generous because his security was in God, not in real estate. So Lot looked out over the land, and he saw something appealing. Lot lifted up his eyes and saw the whole plain of the Jordan. It was well watered, like the Garden of Eden, like the land of Egypt. It looked perfect. So Lot chose that land for himself. He moved eastward, pitching his tents near Sodom. There's a small detail here that carries huge weight. The Bible says Lot pitched his tents near Sodom. Later, we learn he was living in Sodom. Step by step, he moved closer to a city that the Bible describes as wicked and sinning greatly against the Lord. Lot chose based on what he could see. It looked prosperous, but he didn't consider the spiritual danger lurking just over the horizon. After Lot left, God spoke to Abraham again. "Lift up your eyes," God said, "and look north, south, east, west. All the land you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth." Abraham had given Lot first choice, and God responded by giving him everything. Let's summarize what Genesis chapter 13 teaches us. First, Abraham returned to the altar. After his failure in Egypt, he went back to the place of worship. He called on the name of the Lord. Restoration always begins with returning to God. Second, conflict arose because of blessing. Both Abram and Lot were wealthy, and the land couldn't support them together. Prosperity created pressure. This happens in families, churches, and relationships even today. Third, Abraham responded with generosity. He gave Lot first choice of the land. He didn't fight for his rights. He trusted God to provide, so he could afford to be peaceful. Fourth, Lot chose based on sight, not faith. He saw the lush Jordan Valley and moved toward it, ignoring the wickedness of Sodom. His choice was pragmatic, but spiritually dangerous. Fifth, God renewed his promise to Abraham. After Lot left, God told Abraham to look in every direction. All the land would be his. Abraham's generosity was met with God's abundance. The chapter ends with Abraham moving his tents to Hebron and building another altar to the Lord. The tent and the altar always together. The story of Abraham and Lot separating isn't just ancient family drama. It's filled with wisdom for our lives today. Here are 4 life lessons we can carry with us. First, return to your altar. Abraham went back to the place where he had last met with God. When you've wandered, when you've made mistakes, go back to where you last heard God's voice. Return to worship. Return to prayer. Return to your first love. Second, Be willing to let go for peace. Abraham could have fought for the best land. He had the right to choose first. But he let Lot choose, because peace was more important than possessions. Is there something you're holding on to that's causing conflict? Sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is let go. Third, your choices reveal your priorities. Lot looked at the land and saw only what was profitable. He didn't consider the spiritual cost. He moved toward Sodom first near it, then in it. Be careful what you move toward. Not everything that looks good is good for you. The world's prosperity often comes with spiritual danger. Fourth, you can't outgive God. Abraham gave Lot first choice. He ended up with a whole land. God's promise to Abraham was far greater than anything Lot could take. When you trust God with your resources, when you're generous, even when you don't have to be, God sees and He rewards. Fifth, the tent and the altar. Abraham's life was marked by two things: a tent and an altar. The tent side, I'm just passing through. This world is not my home, the altar said, but God is here with me. Do you live with that same posture? Holding loosely to earthly things, holding tightly to God. Lot chose the city. Abraham chose the altar, and that made all the difference. Abraham gave Lot first choice, and God gave him everything. What a beautiful reminder that we can trust God with our futures. Thank you for joining us as we continue our journey through Genesis. If this video encouraged you to live with a tent and altar mindset, please take a moment to like this video. It helps more people discover these life-changing truths. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next story in our series. Coming up, we'll see God make a covenant with Abraham and promise him descendants as numerous as the stars. And if you know someone facing a difficult choice today, share this video with them. Remind them that choosing the altar is always better than choosing the city. We'll see you in the next video. God bless.